See you next time. Hello and welcome to the last portion of literary devices for today, and this is the last one that a lot of you guys were confused about, and it deals with diction. And if you have a wonder, this kind of doesn't really sound English, it's because it's not really an English word. It comes from the Latin word dictio, meaning a saying. And this is precisely what it is. If you're using diction in literature, you are saying something in a different way. So we have three different types of dictions. We have archaic, we have high, and we have low diction. So archaic diction is a way to add a feeling or style of kind of an old English. We're talking about Shakespeare here, like thine and thy and thee, in expressing the pronoun you or your. Now, where do we find archaic diction? Well, we're in a Catholic school, and I think the biggest one of all is our Father. And when we say our Father who art in heaven, and notice we say ART for art, hallowed be thy name, and here is thy. Art and thy are archaic dictions. In other words, thy normally would be your. Okay? This is an old way of saying your. And art is simply are. But in this case, is. Okay? So using archaic diction will give you a different feel to what you're trying to say. Again, prayers like Our Father is a perfect example of archaic. Now, high diction is using very lofty sounding words to express something that you want to convey. So, for example, hopefully your parents are not watching this part, but if you would like to borrow some money from your mom or dad, and you feel that asking them simply for, hey mom, can I borrow $20 for this weekend, may not necessarily get you what you want. But if you use high diction, you could, instead of saying I do not have money, I can simply say, Mom and Dad, I feel extremely impecunious. Would you spare me a 20? What does impecunious mean? Simply a lofty sounding word which means you have no money. From the Latin word pecunia, it's a derivative. Impecunious is a way of you using high diction to ask something that you would normally ask, like, I don't have any money, but in a more lofty sounding way to convey a message in a more, I guess, sophisticated way. And perhaps when you use impecunious, your parents will be so impressed with you that they just might give you that $20 bill. Low diction is the opposite of high diction, okay? So in other words, low diction will be a word used to make a phrase or a sentence sound like slang, okay? So you say, yo, I need to buy some stuff. Spare me 20, okay? Notice how that sounds in relation to high diction. Stuff. Okay. We use this all the time. Okay. Is just a word or a diction that we substitute to describe things like my stuff is at school. Okay. So we're not going to say, you know what, Mom, my binders are in school, or my books are in school, or my utensils, etc. are in school. We just say stuff. And this is a diction, or we use diction to simply convey a message in what we would call a very low or slangy way. So anyways, I hope this made sense. Once again, archaic, used to convey a message in a very old way. Prayers are one of those methods of using diction. High is used to convey a message in a very sophisticated and lofty way. Low is simply saying something that we would normally say in everyday English language, or taking slang to do what we've done here, but in the opposite direction. So instead of being very lofty words, we use very simplistic slang words. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, if you still need to ask me a few questions on literary devices, especially diction, comment down below. You can also comment on Google Classroom and let me know what you think of these videos, if they were helpful or not. I do have a task for you if you'd like to do it. That would be great. And it would help us with our narrative writing, which is going to be coming up very, very soon. So once again, stay tuned next for a small activity to practice all of these literary devices. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. All right, guys, welcome to our last component of today's video, and I do hope you've enjoyed and you had some better understanding of the 4 literary devices that you had questions on. If not, once again, I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'll be able to reply to you guys if you need further examples. But if you did get it, I'm encouraging you guys to try something that I've just tried on the board here, and I've made up my own sentences using the 4 literary devices that we were confused about, and I'm inviting you guys to try the same thing. So here's what I did. Number 1, for an epigraph, I picked a very famous quote from Shakespeare's Hamlet, to be or not to be. And the sentence reads, to be or not to be, a question on existence. So again, if I'm writing something on the idea of existence, whether it's a philosophy or some kind of narrative story, you may want to start with an epigraph, in this case, a quote or an inscription from Shakespeare. Second, euphemism. Due to his visual impairment, he couldn't drive. Now, which word or phrase do you think I've used to substitute blindness? So again, visual impairment. So euphemism, I made something sound better than if I just said, due to his blindness, he could not drive. Allusion. For this one, I use Yoda, and my sentence reads, as Yoda said, there is no try. Notice that I didn't complete the sentence. Yoda said, there is only do, right? But I'm hoping that based on the allusion I used, you'll be able to understand that, yes, there is no try, there's only do. So that's allusion. Imagery. Glittering white, the blanket of snow covered everything in sight. Using imagery to get you guys to imagine glittering white snow, and blanket gives you an imagery of the snow covering the landscape, kind of like this morning, which was a huge difference between yesterday's +11, right? So again, using imagery to convey a message. Which senses did I get to? I'm probably thinking sight in this case, so I use sight as an imagery to help you imagine glittering white snow falling on the ground. Diction is my last one. Feeling lachrymose, I buried my face in tissues. So which word do you think carries diction? That's right, it's lachrymose. What does lachrymose mean? Tearful. So instead of saying feeling tearful, I buried my face in tissues. Feeling lachrymose, I buried my face in tissues. So if you're wondering which style of diction I've used high diction for this particular case. So again, please, I encourage you guys to try. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Maybe we can turn this into a bonus mark or an assessment thing. I don't know yet. But for now, I really want to see if you guys got it. So let me know through Google Classroom or via Google Docs. Share your documents, share your creations, share your pictures of your own sentences with me to help me understand that you understand. And do not throw it out, okay? Don't throw these videos out, don't delete them. Please do not delete any of this that you're trying, because we will be doing narrative writing very, very soon. And you may want to keep this in your back pocket to help you with your comprehension and with your narrative writing. For now, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you guys next time. Bye.